Hey everybody, what's happening? I am Tommy, and you were on the lifeboat. This is going to be a, hey, you know what? I won't lie. It's that whole Schadenfreude thing. I don't know why we don't have.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, Johnny Scoville is literally tap dancing in the kitchen. If you've been on YouTube for any length of time, you have come across this cat. He's annoying. Jane, good to see you. Brock Bandy, what's happening? Mike Bragg, John, Sandy Wandy, Winchester Super X, good to see you. Disclosure, Aaron, what's happening? That's down under, I believe. Sandy Wandy, I believe that's you. The eyesight isn't what it used to be. Pat Allen, beautiful New Zealand day today. Well, you got to love that. People from all over tuning in. This guy has been on the internet for a really long time. Gemini Girl 65, good to see you. The Bohemian Luciferian Witch is in the house. Good to have you here. Hey, nice to see you. Kristen Melinda, good to have you here. Lisa Trimble, what is happening? Riley's Human. All right, we could probably fire this thing up. So if you've been on YouTube for any length of time, Whitby Island Girl, good to see you. You have come across Jack Dougherty. This guy popped up in like 2016 on the, hey Louisa, on YouTube. And at that time he was like 12. This guy bought his first huge mansion when he was like 15. He's done billions and billions of YouTube views. And he is just absolutely another one of those people that you watch and go, why do they give these people cash? Like, he's got 15 million followers on YouTube, which is one of the only platforms that he can still go on. That little kid hiding behind his bodyguards, you nailed it. Winchester Super X, bringing it. That, folks. Hey, Jane Aldrich, good to see you. That, folks, is exactly what this cat is. And he does this constantly. He did get in some trouble with those guys, though. They beat somebody up at a Halloween party in 2023. So it was a good-sized lawsuit that got filed because he runs around and shoots his mouth off. He is not a big guy, right? This is not a big individual. He lives like he's huge because he has multiple bodyguards that follow him around. But if you track this guy's career, he started off flipping things, like all of these things he could make flip and land with the bottom side up on top of things. It was a big thing back in the day, and it launched him into all kinds of cash in the early days of his career. Renee B, good to see you. And like so many of these cats, the fame and the money come in, and it just absolutely wrecks them. They get to a point where they just have to keep upping the ante. After you've flipped everything in sight, he starts coming up with these stunts that, for the most part, are obnoxious. Picture him somewhere between like the guy that just got arrested in Johnny Somali. He's almost that vain, but not nearly as disrespectful to cultures, but people. And the most disturbing part of this guy's, go ahead. He's super bad to women, right? Yeah. To keep it real, there are a lot of grooming allegations going on against this cat. He's creepy as all hell. He really is. He's a super creepy dude. He had a Child Protective Services raid on his house in 2025. During a live stream, CPS and police arrived at his home following anonymous child abuse allegations, causing a major interruption and public scrutiny. His ex says he's addicted to pills, and that's going to come into play here shortly. The pill that she said that he was addicted to was Adderall. And you know what? There's a lot of people that use Adderall. Brock Bandy, good to see you. What's happening? Cindy G. There's a lot of people that are taking it without prescriptions. You can call that whatever you want. But then there are people who abuse it. And according to his girl, Auntie KK, according to his previous girlfriend, who was also a YouTube streamer, McKinley Richardson, who has said that he was abusive. Hey, Charlie and Smut, good to see you. Said that the cat was abusive, and by all accounts, he shows that. So the way that, as his career started to do this number, he crashed a McLaren, got a ton of views on it, but it starts looking like these are manufactured crises for the purpose of getting views. And you can get away with that for a while. People will watch, but it gets to a point where all of a sudden you just don't have a lot of credibility. He got robbed, allegedly, on Rodeo Drive, I believe it was. Wasn't it, Johnny Skittle?
I believe it was.
Guy jumps out of the car, allegedly. Guy jumps out of a car and tries to rip a chain off of his neck. You don't actually see that part of it. I don't believe anything this dude does. And I'll be really honest with you. If his girl hadn't said, his ex hadn't said that he had a pill addiction, I probably would doubt some of what happened today. Barbara Waite, good to see you. So what gets crazy about this dude is, as his income starts to dive and people stop watching him as much, he spins out a business that is, well, it's pimping. Karen Roman, good to see you. It's pimping for all intents and purposes, but it's doing it through a computer. And this is where he starts to run into some really bad publicity, because allegedly he was grooming girls that were not yet 18 to go on OnlyFans. And he had a little stable of young women, barely legal, right? Women just, 18, 19, 20 kind of age, that were getting naked and doing things on camera. Kind of like what the two brothers did. What are those guys? Kickboxing dude? You know who I'm talking about. No. The kickboxer guy that he's the first alpha male. Everybody else copied him.
You're talking about.
Yes, I am. See that? Johnny Scoville's working on it. Somebody in the crowd's going to get this before Johnny Scoville does. Even with that 30-second delay that we have, you're going to see that pop up, I promise, because Adderall is prescription amphetamines. It is. And he got caught with one today. Actually, it was last night. No, it wasn't. It was today. Just 9 o'clock in the morning this morning in Florida. He was doing some kind of a stunt in front of a smoke shop and got into an argument. Jake Paul. Thank you. The Paul brothers. No, is it Jake and no, not Jake Paul. That's not who it is. There's two of them. They're from Romania. Somebody help me. Jake Paul's. What's that? Andrew Tate. Thank you. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate made a fortune off of putting young women on as cam girls who would strip and play with themselves or do other basically porn stuff on OnlyFans. I'm not busting on anybody for doing OnlyFans, but if you're going to do it, you shouldn't have a pimp, which is basically what this dude was doing. They were getting the smallest amount of the money, and he's in trouble there. FBI is investigating him. There's a lot of stuff going on. Sinstar, good to see you, my brother. Andrew Tate. You know what? We'll leave that up there so that everyone can know that he nailed that. Judy Jetson. Adderall, how celebrities stay skinny. Yeah, not anymore. Now it's that. Now it is that drug that they inject. Can't remember what it's called. It's a diabetes drug. Boy, I'm on it tonight, aren't I? I am hitting it out of the park this evening, which is good because I'm doing back-to-back shows. Sinstar, I really appreciate you. So he's out there doing this stunt, and he gets into an argument with the cops. So he's got 3 charges, right? And the 3 charges, one of them is possession of weed. Not really that big a deal in Florida. Up to 1 year in prison. He had less than 20 grams. So it's a small amount. Ozempic, thank you. You see, you guys are much better at this than I am. Sex is a great source of real life drama. Yeah, and it was, right? He ripped these chicks off for massive amounts of money, allegedly bought a bunch of exotic cars, houses, as is the case with a lot of these dudes. They rent these things. But he did destroy a McLaren, and he hurt the cameraman in the process. Sort of ended up in the court system, nothing big, but he was using an electronic device. He was filming when he did it. The guy's an idiot. Yeah, the weight loss drug. They're using it as a weight loss drug. It's actually a drug for diabetes, but they are using it that way. There are other contexts where this guy spends way too much time around people that are young, and these allegations have been going on for a while. He really is a pimp, and I don't mean that in the good sense of the word. Like when people are like, "Yeah, he's a pimp." No, this guy takes advantage of women, and it's how he's made his living now for a hot minute. He's also spending a lot of time hanging out with, you know who? Wes Watson, who is another guy that is facing prison right now, right? Wes Watson got in trouble for beating up a guy in a gym, and he did it on film. And it's pretty clear cut when you watch it that he was the aggressor, and he punched the guy like 35 times in the head. Disturbing stuff. Then kicked him a couple of times. He went full prison mode on him. Of course, he had 5 guys backing him up, and that's usually how it happens in prison too. Very often, there's a bunch of guys that are just sort of watching to make sure that things go one way. They call it the Peloton. They're on Peloton, like the bike. John, that's funny as hell. They're on Peloton. I dig that. That's funny. Now, this bust that happened, he had less than 20 grams of weed. He had an amphetamine, which is a Schedule 2 in Florida, and carries up to a 5-year prison sentence, which there is no chance in hell he's going to get. I mean, absolutely no chance. He'll get a decent attorney, and the 1 pill thing, even if he has it illegally. But he also has a resisting arrest without violence. That does carry up to a year in a county jail. So does the weed. So if you take all three of them together, you might see a judge toss this kid in for a year, and a year in county jail, you're probably out in 6 months. And if you're a trustee, if you get in there and get a job and you're able to keep it without screwing up, you could probably be out in 2 or 3. So they may do something like that. I think that this also could be a publicity stunt. I know that that sounds messed up, but this kid does stuff to try to bring attention to himself. I would not be surprised if he wrecked the McLaren on purpose. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. You know, they say that it hydroplaned. I don't know. You can look at the video yourself. But he's just one of those people that is always like the incident where they tried to rip off his chain, his big chain, on Rodeo Drive, right? High crime. But everything he does ends up with tons of views. He's been kicked off of every platform. On Kick, he had girls that were working for him that he just kept encouraging to flash the camera, which is about the fastest way to get a channel on any platform thrown out. They're not going to, unless it's OnlyFans, you're not going to pull that off. But he can't seem to follow any kind of rules. He's always screwing up. Why did he get arrested? He set up a stunt in front of a smoke shop. Now, it's a little fuzzy to me on exactly what they were doing, but they were stopping traffic. So the cops showed up, and he ends up arguing with them, trying to get away. Yeah, he's 22 years old, trying to get away, and they have to subdue him, resisting without violence. If you wanted to get arrested for 3 things that you are not going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble for, this isn't a bad 3-piece. Flash the camera. They were cam models. He created the car legit. Yeah, you know what? He's very fond of recruiting women before they turn 18. And there's a lot of investigation going on to that. There's some really creepy video. Ozempic has some dangerous side effects. Read the insert. Effects. Peace. You know what? It's probably a really good thing to put up there, actually, because there are enough people abusing that across the planet. It's more like blow than it's like the 80s, man. He had a biking accident in February 25. His Kick ban. He was banned on Kick in 2025, which was one of the last bastions. Like, they gave him a pile of money to go to Kick. You know, if you're a creator of that size and you've got 15 million people on YouTube, you can get a pile of money to start putting up content, especially in real life content that people can watch live on a channel, right? This deal should have been a really good thing for him. He was unbanned in January of this year on the 9th, and he was rebanned on the 18th. He's running out of stuff that he can do for press. The problem with some of the women web camming forum were under 18 years old. Yeah, that is absolutely what was happening, and and there's a lot of investigation going on. This dude's not in a great place, and the people he creates content with, this should tell you everything you need to know. He went from a guy that was doing literally billions of views, and now he's creating content with Wes Watson and the Island Boys. Johnny Scoville, you familiar with the Island Boys? Yeah, they had that hit song video with them in a hot tub going Island Boy. Not much more to that song, is there? Is that not the whole rig?
That's it.
That's it, right? They just say Island Boys again and again and again. And they had, if you've ever watched The Simpsons, the haircut from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob. Both of them had these the like Statue of Liberty thing going on with the hair. Yeah, the bodyguard did beat people up. It was a Halloween party, and Jack Doherty was in on it. There's a lawsuit for that. The problem is that people with a ton of money, they more often get sued than they do get arrested. This could absolutely just be a publicity stunt. As bad as that is, when you're making content with 2 brothers who had a hit song, Island Boy, and when that didn't work, they did an OnlyFans.
Oh boy.
I don't even want to touch this one if you don't know who the Island Boys are, but here's the deal with them. They started an OnlyFans, and there were no women in that, Johnny Scoville.
No.
Just the brothers.
That's what they say.
Couldn't get me to do that with Johnny. Sorry, you just couldn't. But they were literally, just what you think. Kissing each other and doing all kinds of stuff. And yeah, that's that incest thing. That's kind of foul, man. It really is. It's foul. But that's the bottom of the barrel that this dude's filming with, right? And Wes Watson, who's on his way back to the joint and has multiple videos. If you don't watch JD Delay, JD's done a pretty good deal of reporting on it. And what Wes Watson is just, he makes videos and posts them with blow all over his nose. You look down, there's cocaine, on the between the two seats. They got a little thing that lays down. He's got blow all over it. The guy, and he's lost a ton of weight. This is just kind of where where Jack Doherty has crashed to. And I think that very often when people know that the end is near, they crash out. So this is about as desperate as you're going to get if this is a publicity stunt. But his bail was set at, are you ready, Johnny Scoville?
All right.
So you got a felony charge and 2 misdemeanors, a felony charge that allegedly could carry up to 5 years in prison. What do you think his bail was? $3,500. The Island Boys are twins. One is married with a kid. The single one is a drug problem. Yep, I heard the twins did gay porn on OnlyFans. They did, Mike, which is just brutal if you think about it, man. I'm sorry. Like, who is this guy? His name is Jack Doherty. Got onto the internet when he was 12 on YouTube. He used to flip things. You've probably seen videos of him. He was a cute little kid. He really was. Don't hear anything about Floyd Mayweather is broke. I will do a deep dive on that. How's that? Be on the lookout for that. Because if that's the truth, you got any idea how much money that guy's blown? Allegedly, though, he had a pretty vicious gambling habit. Know what I mean?
I bet he could quit if you want.
You think he'd take that bet? Johnny says, I bet he could quit if he wanted to. I said, you think he'd take that bet? He probably would take that bet. Allegedly, the guy bets an awful lot of money on an awful lot of stuff, right? Which is a bummer. So he was it was 2016 is when he started on YouTube at 12 years old and just made a fortune really, really quickly. He was born in Long Island, went to high school out there, and then started flipping stuff and made so much money doing that bought his first mansion at 15, drove around in a bunch of exotic cars. And when his popularity started to dive because people started to realize that everything he was doing was just a kind of a ripoff. Yeah, Mike Skidmore brings up a good point. Jack did a pump and dump Bitcoin scam at least one time too.
Talk about cryptocurrency. Don't talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about Bitcoin tonight. It's tough. It's been a tough run on Bitcoin the last week. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a Bitcoin scam, but it was a coin. Somebody was. He was in the process of pumping and dumping a coin.
How about the Scoville crypto coin?
Oh yeah, the stay tuned for the Scoville crypto coin. Right, you're going to buy the Scoville. Yeah, well, you know what? If the content creator tries to sell you a coin, please run like hell. Honestly, it's the wild, wild west, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely. The Carolina, Canada. This is a guy worth talking about because this is sort of this is the state of YouTube now. The fact that this dude has bottomed out as hard as he has, I think gives us hope for content creators that do live stuff. Stunts that lead to getting arrested. It's probably not a great way to build a channel. Was unaware that the Island Boys, the OnlyFans thing is pretty sick. Yeah, disclosure, Aaron, it's pretty foul. And they, aside from that, there was a lot of play. They didn't obviously show the hey, but there was some video that leaked early on of them, doing the tonsil hockey thing, and that was sort of leaked out there. I'm telling you, man, you really got to want to get views if you're just like, I got an idea. Here's what we'll do. And you know what's even more bizarre than that is that somebody pitched him on that, and you just got to know your audience, man. You pitched that to the wrong set of brothers. We're going to dig a small ditch out back. Cryptocurrency. Beautiful women are always trying to get me to invest in crypto. I blocked them. Good call. The Bitcoin thing. Look, Bitcoin, they created a finite number of it in the beginning. It's the one that has taken off. It's killing it. There's a lot of others out there that people are sort of betting on. But if it has a huge, ridiculous amount, like trillions of coins, I mean, people make money on some of the meme coins, not the big ones, but like anybody can start one. It's almost like the Wild Wild West. It really is. I would avoid the hell out of people that try to use their platform to sell you a meme coin because they're not going to go long. You understand what that means? They're not going to hold on to that stuff. As soon as the price starts going up in any way, shape, or form, they're dumping. And everybody that gets involved with the coin is going to get an issue, right? What the hell is Bitcoin? It's it's a really difficult thing to explain, but I'll give it a shot. Allegedly, there was a guy that wrote these things called the white papers. Why is Trump involved in Bitcoin? Well, I don't know that there's any investors right now in the U.S. that don't own Bitcoin, but I'm not sure if that's what you mean. If you mean that he flipped from being super anti-Bitcoin in the beginning and is now a fairly large fan of it. Now, in his defense, so is everybody else his age, right? Everybody just said this is the dumbest thing in the world. So there's this make-believe coin out in cyberspace, but because there's a limited amount of them, there's not a limited amount of gold. There's not a limited amount of silver, right? They can keep mining it. They can keep going and doing things for it. There's not a limited amount of diamonds or anything else, right? In terms of like commodities type of investing, right? Not stocks where you bet on a company going up and down, but where you take possession of something. Well, you take possession of something in cyberspace. And I believe that Bitcoin was probably created as much to try to show the world that there could be a digital currency, that people weren't going to get ripped off, that the encryption codes work, and that you can, move this stuff around, buy and sell with it. There's a lot of people that have invested a lot of money, and the coins are running out. It's probably going to be a decade at the rate that they buy now. Could be, but you never know what's going to happen. So this is just it's just, in my opinion, a way to prove that it could be done. And the way they did it is to build a network that they transact over. And most people refer to it as Web 4, right? This is the blockchain. It's a very different way of transmitting information, and the odds of it getting hacked are nil. And they've proven that you can move this currency that was created. And if that sounds stupid, and if you find yourself creating a currency out of thin air, well, there are two kinds of currencies normally. One is called fiat, right? And the other is a currency that is backed by something. So you've got a country that drills for oil, and they've got, just millions and millions of barrels of sweet crude coming out a day. They can back their currency with oil. So each dollar or each whatever you want to call it actually has something of value that is backing it up. So it's a representation of actual stuff. And bills in the U.S., you used to be able to walk into a bank and say, I want to trade this in for silver, and they would do it, right? That was a thing because we used to back our currency. We are completely off of any kind of backing. Right now, what we have is a fiat currency, and they just keep printing more of it. And they just keep printing more of it. And the reason that is worth anything is because the world believes that it's worth something. Now, Bitcoin is the exact same thing, but they can't just keep cranking it out. So it has created a lot of people that kind of want to buy in. Now, back to Jack Doherty, for if you're just tuning in. He got busted this morning in Florida. He was doing a stunt that caused traffic to back up. He was out in front of a smoke shop. Bunch of cops. Too many cops to believe. About 14 different cop cars. I mean, there's people everywhere. Which makes you wonder whether or not this is a cat that maybe phoned this in on himself, right? Maybe they phoned in a tip. Jackie Keogh, welcome, Australia. I'll throw another shrimp on the barbie. Please tell me you got that movie reference and you don't just think I'm rude. The U.S. should file bankruptcy on the federal debt. It's just a phone money. It is not money that's backed by anything. Neither is Bitcoin. The difference between the two of them is that with the dollar, they're just going to keep cranking out more of them. In fact, the rate that they're printing it at, it's terrifying. And it's just a matter of time before we go to some kind of a digital currency, which is a bit terrifying in a lot of ways, because the people that run it, if they wanted to turn you off, they could. Right? And then all your dough, you do something to become a subversive. If you're subversive, right, or they'll be calling you a radical. Anyway, Jack Doherty started out as a YouTuber when he was 12 years old, made a pile of money, and then went on to do stupider and stupider stunts. In the beginning, he was just a cute kid flipping things, and it would land upside down, a bottle of water, a pen, all these crazy things that you think, yeah, there's no way. He was a kid with way too much time on his hands. But in the early days of YouTube, the kind of things that really took off are way different than it is now, right? but he was one of those content creators slash influencers that just could not take his, you know, the views and the adoration and all the stuff that he had worked for. He didn't like seeing it drop. So the stuff that he did to get views started getting crazier and crazier. He crashed a really expensive exotic car, a McLaren, and as the story goes, it was hydroplaning, Johnny Scoble. Most people think it was a stunt. If you wreck a car that's worth 200 grand, but it brings you in a couple of million subscribers, right, who go, oh man, he's crazy, and then those people watch all your videos. The very last batch of pennies is being printed now, says Karen Roman. I did not know that. I did not know that. French Connection Mama, good to see you. He was arrested for 3 charges. One was resisting law enforcement without violence. That's one. It's a resisting arrest. It carries up to 1 year in a county jail, which doesn't really mean 1 year in a county jail. The next thing he had was weed on him. Not a big deal in Florida. He had under 20 grams. That also carries 1 year in the county jail. Now that's an up to. The judge doesn't have to do that. However, he also got caught with, as they say, controlled substance 2, amphetamine. It was 1 pill.
That's a problem.
Yeah. The reason it's a problem is because his girlfriend, who was also a, what do you call it? She was an influencer. Here, Johnny Scoble. But his ex-girlfriend, McKinley Richardson, publicly alleged that Dougherty's Adderall use escalated into dangerous behavior during their relationship. Thing is, it's speed in a pill. If you've ever seen ADHD medication, it starts off with Ritalin, that's like the bottom of the food chain, and then it goes to Adderall, and then it goes to dextromethamphetamine, right, dexedrine, and then the top of the food chain is the stuff that they call Desoxin, which is just meth in a pill. It's pretty rowdy stuff, actually. Yeah, yeah, you know, here's the thing with all of the different stunts that this cat's done, like I almost got robbed. There was a leak of some of his stuff. Somebody hacked into it allegedly, right? And this was kind of a bummer because his old man saw videos of him doing the nasty with, hold on a second. Personal leaks. He was robbed of 300 grand, allegedly. He was robbed of $300,000. And in the process, his father allegedly saw a couple of his sex tapes. These are the kind of things where that may be really uncomfortable, but I've also watched him on tape in front of his mother, cursing like a sailor, talking about foul stuff. Like, I didn't realize it was his mom. The first time I watched it, I was like, you know, who's the woman? I mean, just foulness at a level that would get your attention. In fact, I believe the conversation between him and Wes Watson had to do with mouth hugs, Johnny Scoble. They were talking about, you know, Wes's girl not, you know, doing him the favor, Johnny. And Jack Dougherty's having this conversation in front of his mother, and it's just the most vile.
But Wes's daughter too.
Oh yeah, not to mention, what is she, 5?
Yeah.
She's either 4 or 5. Yeah, it's not his daughter. It's someone else's, but it's the girl that he had been living with. His parents are ridiculous enablers, and the reason is because of the amount of cash that this guy brings in. That's life-changing money for a family. And the way most of these young, stupid influencers are, they'll make 10 million, 15 million bucks. They'll start rolling tough, and they'll give mom and dad $1 million. And they'll be out of money living in mom and dad's house because mom and dad will stretch that $1 million. They're not out there doing these ridiculous stunts and renting all kinds of houses and all kinds of cars. Had to move back in with mom and dad. His hustle, Roberta, good to see you. His hustle has dried up. You know what? I love that too. Hey, Just Joan. Love you, Fam and Tommy and Katie and SNZ and Johnny. Yeah, that is the whole crew. There's some really funny cat videos we've been putting up. The cats are hysterical. And if I may say so myself, I have a ridiculous taste in music when it comes to cat videos. Pairing them perfectly. Like City Slickers, Johnny Scoble. You remember the guy from City Slickers? He could tell you whatever ice cream it was that should be paired with any meal. I can do that with any short. Wendy R., good to see you. You didn't get notified. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't know how any of that works, to be honest with you. I have the notification on for channels that I don't get notified on. And people say, you know, you go in there, you back out, then you hit it again and you make sure you hit all, because sometimes they won't tell you if you put up a bunch of stuff, they're only going to alert you to a couple unless you say all. But I've done it. It hasn't fixed anything. You ever have that experience here, John? It's a bit of a bummer. So yeah, the guy gets busted. The cops come in. It just, I don't know, man. I don't buy it. Just being really honest with you, I don't buy it. $3,500 bail. You think they're really worried about this? Think this dude's looking at a lot of time? I mean, if he had 40 Adderall on him, right? But this isn't something that's going to land the dude locked up. You just redid that? Well, you'll have to let us know if it works. He got out and has not posted yet, Johnny Scoville, with the exception of the artist formerly known as Twitter. What's it called? What do they call it?
X.
X. That's right. Sorry, I'm not an Xer. You still call them Xers, or do you tweet? Do you X?
I don't know. I avoid it because it sounds silly saying it.
Yeah, no, I'm not an X guy.
I won't glaze Elon Musk.
I am a master. Thank you, Jane. I am a master. What was that?
I won't glaze Elon Musk.
Oh, no. Do you hear what Johnny Scoville said? He's been out of it too long. Audra in Denver, good to see you. Thinks that just could be some glazing. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I get a laugh out of it every time somebody says it. Those words catch on with creators, Johnny. Then everybody says it. He's just glazing them, which is, yeah. Cold, rainy weather. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, you know what? And I hate to do the Schadenfreude thing, but when you watch this guy, it's like it's Johnny Somali light, right? Or that Russian cat that's in
Vitaly.
Yeah, Vitaly.
He's a Filipino jailer. Hate life.
Another guy that just did incredible stunts and pushed the envelope of what people did on YouTube. And some of it was funny, right? And some of it was just hellaciously disrespectful. And he went to other country and did it. And now he is in the Philippines, locked up, where he's been for a really, really long time. Johnny Somali did the same thing in Japan. And then in South Korea, he did a lap dance for a statue, baby oil and all, for a statue that is there to honor victims of World War II who were basically sex slaves during the war. This is a very kind of, if you sought out to do what he did someplace more offensive, it might take you the rest of your life to find it. Like, this is literally the sickest crap that you could do. But the things that these guys do, that it doesn't matter if you're famous, right? Infamous and famous is the same thing. The King Azule, fake alpha male that's out there, right? If you listen to the bio that this guy tells the world that he did, he was a Marine, Johnny Scuttle. He was a Marine. He, at the age of 14, he was dating a 33-year-old that didn't know he was 14. This guy, this is a recurring theme where these guys are just sort of pigs, and they're all liars, right? Now, no one's perfect, right? And good to see you. Plus, a former military man punched Johnny Somali and then waited for him to get arrested. You know what? Johnny Somali's taken a couple of beatdowns, but that's part of doing business for a lot of these in real life streamers, right? A lot of them are just, they're willing to literally do anything to get a view. And this is, so the Johnny Somali cat does this dance on the statue. He goes into noodle shops, right? Noodle houses, and takes stuff and just dumps it on the table. He brought, rotting fish and walked around the cities with it. He played the air raid siren that they played when for atomic stuff in Japan. Just one of the most disrespectful cats that ever lived. And now he's in South Korea, rotting in a jail and waiting to see whether or not he's going to get deported. As well he should be. Actually, no, at the moment he's out on bail, but they won't let him leave the country. I'm sorry, Vitaly's the one rotting in jail. He is out on bail, but his trial is coming up and he's going to catch time. He broke all kinds of laws. He did a deep fake, right? And deep fake laws over there. I saw a video, I sent it to Reese, of Nancy Pelosi, and it said Nancy Pelosi drunk, and it says CNN on the bottom of it, and I'm watching it, and she answered something that, I mean, she's not a young woman. I'm not going to sit here and say whether or not the woman's drunk. That's it's not my place. Did you buy that?
She was hammered.
Anyway, in this video, she was mumbling slightly, right? And then she pulls out a sombrero, puts it on top of her head, and tips back a bottle of what looks like it might have been bourbon, right? I guess it could have been a light rum, but it looked a lot like bourbon. And then fell out of the chair, feet going up in the air. And I watched it about 4 times. It is so realistic. It's unbelievable. Of course, it didn't happen, right? It's terrifying what they can do with the AI stuff. Blows me away, Johnny. So that's 2 of these guys. There's another influencer. I can't think of his name right now, but he just slashed a guy's throat in Italy. He was a guy from that the other one, the pendulum thing. I don't even like saying their name. Creepy. You download that app, you know the one people used to dance on it. Pendulum, Johnny Scott. That's a terrifying thing. That you got these creators who just make so much money they think they can do anything. He's another one that wrecked a really nice car. But now at a bar fight, he slashed a guy in the throat, and he's looking at some very serious charges. He was a TikToker. Hate saying it, I really do. It's a terrible app. Be careful with that app. That's all I'm saying. Be careful with that app. If you click on that, Johnny, you say to them, you can look at everything I have, pictures, right? Anything I got. You want to go through my emails? You want to do any of that? I mean, every platform has the ability to do that to you, but this particular platform says we want it all. Right? It's all your texts with other people, everything else. I find that creepy. I find that downright creepy. But if you're just joining in, Jack Doherty got busted. He had less than 20 grams of weed. He had he had 1 Adderall tab on him. Suspicious. And a resisting arrest, but he didn't swing at him or anything, right? It was resisting without violence. Kind of sounds like a setup. $3,500 bond. He's already out. And on X, Johnny Scoville, he tweeted, free him. That was the only thing he has said since getting out on bail. Free him. If this isn't a publicity stunt, then I just don't buy it. It sounds so not much is going to happen to him. Now, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, if he gets a judge that thinks this is a publicity stunt, right, and gets a bad feeling about that, yeah, he could probably do some time, because that 1 pill could get him up to 5. Although, if this is a publicity stunt, he would have been really stupid to not at least get a prescription. Right? This is not a drug that's hard to get a doctor in America to write you a script for. It's the Quaalude of this decade. Since that movie came out, what was it called? The movie about the guy that took the pill. My brain is firing.
No, Matrix.
No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, the movie with Bradley Cooper where he snarfs the pill and it makes him superhuman. There are so many people that believe that Adderall does that for you, and in small doses, if you're a person that needs help with concentration, it probably does some. Limitless. Thank you. Who is she? Who is she? She goes, Yard. Anne of Cleavers with Limitless. That's exactly what it is. And there are people that buy into that. There are people that believe Adderall is that pill. And people joke about it all the time. You hear politicians and lawyers and all kinds of people that say nothing would get done. Housewives use it. It's a very, very popularly prescribed drug. Now, it does have a use. I made a joke about the Quaalude. There was nothing the Quaalude ever should have been written a prescription for. It actually went in front of Congress and had hearings on it. There is no reason to write a script for Quaaludes for any reason, Johnny. It's not effective at anything. It's not effective sleeping medication. It's way too strong if you're going to use it as a tranquilizer. But no place on earth is still making it. They were making it in South Africa for a while. These days, I don't think pharmacies are. There are a lot of bootleg labs that are still doing it because there's a demand for it, a big time demand for it there. That part of the world used to call them mandrakes. Remember, it came on a big green sheet. It's like 100 of them to a sheet. They were basically just a Quaalude in another form, but terrifying drug. So, Wes Lightburn, good to see you. So, yeah, he's not going to do any time unless the judge figures out that this is a scam. Or the other option is that by stacking all these, one of them carries up to 5 years in prison. If they drop that charge down to something else, he's probably going to get a gross misdemeanor, which could be a disgusting misdemeanor. That could, if they stacked all 3 of those, they could probably give him a year in the county jail, and he wouldn't do much of it. County jail time is not like going to prison. There are no more Quaaludes. Been gone for a very long time. But so that's Jack Dougherty, folks. If you've never seen him, he's another content creator that's going to make you grit your teeth. This in real life IRL stuff that people do it thrives on people feeling uncomfortable, not the person watching. They're going to take joy in that. But the content creator goes out and tries to make people feel super uncomfortable, and then they film it. For some people, I guess that's entertainment, right? For some people, that's entertainment. It's not my get down. It just isn't. And I don't, there's that type of content that doesn't necessarily offend me, right? They're not necessarily doing anything wrong, like the people that audit police stations or whatever. I still don't watch it. It's not something that I could deal with. I think I was prescribed Adderall when I purchased my home and applied for my mortgage. It did help me concentrate. Yeah, no question. I mean, that is what it does, right? But if, like anything else, it's a very, very effective drug, right? It's an amphetamine. It does make you able to concentrate more, right? It keeps you focused, and it gives you energy that coffee just isn't going to pull off. And unlike cocaine or other stimulants, where you don't necessarily feel like you've got to do this every hour, every 15 minutes, whatever, if it's whatever drug you're doing. But they have a extended release version of this so that people take it and it bleeds out to them all day long. But it really has become abused. And as silly as it sounds, I think the movie Limitless honestly had a huge effect on that. I can't tell you how often that reference is made. People talk about it all the time. It's like that stuff from the movie. I was always a fan of going in the opposite direction. I like things that took me down, not up at all.
Right.
Yeah. Holy Adderall. I bit a little tiny bite of one and felt schizophrenic. Probably not your substance then. That's probably a ringing endorsement to not do any more of it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a pretty rugged thing for Jack Doherty. Lawn Dog. This is a pretty great comment. Hold on one second. Nice. Jack Doherty, interesting development. He's going to be surprised at having no access to the internet and having that taken away from him. I think you know what I'm getting at. Yeah, you know what? It is a shock. And the other thing is, he's an idiot. He'll do everything he can to get a cell phone, and in a state joint, he'd have a decent shot of getting it. But I don't think he's going to do any kind of real time at all. If I promise you, if this is a stunt, he had it locked and loaded and ready to go. Lawyers, guns blaring, they know what he's going to be charged with. I mean, I guarantee you this is a setup. The cops show up, and the first thing you're going to do when you get to a scene is decide that you're going to start going through people's pockets or doing things of that nature. What was the impetus for that? Well, if I had to take a guess, I would say somebody called in and said he's filming in front of this smoke shop, and traffic's getting diverted. He's shutting down traffic to film, and they went out there on a tip that, on top of that, I happen to know he's got dope on him, under 20 grams of weed and one Adderall pill. His girlfriend, former girlfriend, who has not been very kind to him since the breakup, did say that he's got a problem with this stuff and he does too much of it. When he does, that's when he gets in trouble. If you notice this cat, he never stops fussing with his hair. Ever notice that, Johnny Scribble? He does this the entire time he films, right? And the more uncomfortable he seems, like the more that the situation starts getting sketchy. He just did some stuff with Wes Watson in Florida. And it seems like every time they go out, there's a problem. There's a fist fight on the last video. These guys are crashing out, folks. And I hate to do the Schadenfreude thing, but I'm sorry. I don't take any joy normally in people that crash and burn. I always root for people to do better. But when people make a living by being, of course, yeah, no question, Lawn Dog. There are some really great Black Sabbath stuff, really great Ozzy stuff as well. I liked Ozzy after he left. I think the Randy Rhoads period of time was just absolutely ridiculous. You know where I was then, don't you?
Where?
I was in high school. But, I remember really getting into the guitar. Just absolutely incredible. But anyway, I dig watching these guys crash and burn. They make a living by making people uncomfortable. That's an really hump way to make a living. You know what I mean? Wes sucks. Oh, that's a good one. Let's put that up. Yeah. Wes Watson is an absolute asshat and a check-in. Now, I'm not talking out of school here, right? I did a show on this. The guy checked in out of his own mouth. He said, everybody does prison a different way. I checked in. But the name of his channel is GP, as in general population. I don't care if he checked in, but then maybe don't tell the world you were a shot caller. Were you a shot caller on a check-in yard? Doesn't, first of all, if they have that, which they usually don't, I wouldn't put that on a billboard. You know what I mean? No, not Lightburn. Yes, I think everybody got that. Wes Watson. Yeah, he's another guy that he rents his house and tells people he bought it. All these guys. What's Pubes Watson? What's that dude's name? They have nicknames for all of these guys, and they just give them the last name. All these fake alpha males, they give them the last name Watson. It's hysterically funny, man. And there's one that's got just this. He's got like Rick James kind of Jerry curl thing going on the top of his head.
That's Pubes.
What's that?
That's Pubes Watson.
That's Pubes Watson. Yeah, he's just got this unbelievable mop of hair, and he's about 7 feet tall. He's a lanky wanker.
He's a lanky wanker.
He is a lanky wanker. That is actually pretty funny. Not you, Lightburn, but yeah, find that dude's name. You know what I'm talking about. But all of these guys get outed. People like John Bravo. There's a lot of channels out there that do exposés on these cats. Vince. It is Vince, though. Yeah. And they've all got a girl that they hire. I mean, Wes Watson's girl was, you can look up where these girls were for sale. And look, again, I'm not beating on anybody that makes a living anyway, but don't represent it as something different. Is a shot caller in a check-in yard like a hall monitor in a middle school? Yes, I would say that that's probably pretty close. They're probably more organized at the middle school. Most of the guys that end up in those kind of units are just trying to survive. So I don't think there's a whole lot of cohesion of people who come together and sort of click up. And if that doesn't happen, you really don't need a shot caller. They sort of keep the peace in theory between different races and different cars.
I think Wes is going to delete himself. I don't think he has it into it.
Johnny Scoville says he thinks Wes Watson may take himself off of the planet. And I don't know. It looks like he's trying to. That dude has lost so much weight in the last 3 months, 3.5 months. He is sucking up quick. You know what it is, Johnny? It's a Bolivian marching powder. That's what it is. I mean,
he's out of the gear.
Yeah, you know what? And in interviews, he'll literally say, "No, I don't never done any steroids. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy, but I'm 40." You know what I mean? It's probably a little young for the TRT, but I promise you, he was doing a hell of a lot more than that. Heather Rhodes, good to see you. In fact, I can't remember the name of the juice, but there's one in the gearbox, Johnny Scoville, that supposed to make your veins pop out viciously.
Oh, yeah.
And when he was huge, his veins were ridiculous. And he's just blasting his entire body. You know, the lion's share of those tats he got on the street. He didn't get those in the joint. That's kind of weird to me. But Wes Watson is a guy that makes prison content, all of which is complete and utter BS. The dude talks about the fights and the people getting stabbed and all the things that he saw in prison. And I promise you, there just aren't prisons that are that active. I mean, there may be fights every day, but they're not going to be near enough for you to see them. And this dude's just, holy hell. And I did some stuff on him, which was fun to just look up things that he says, right? You can have a field day with this. He'll say, when I was 14, I bought a turbocharged Range Rover. True story, right? Or a jacked up Z71 pickup truck. And he tells you how much, these things cost. So you just start doing a little basic research. You look up how old he was at that time, and you start, figuring out things like Range Rover didn't supercharge a car for about 9 years after that, right? The first one that was ever, sold to the public. But he's just a chronic BSer, and they're appealing to a group of kids, young men that don't have dads, who are struggling, who are looking for any kind of an identity. And some guy comes along and barks at him like a drill sergeant. You can see tons of video of him coaching people. And, someone will go, I have a question. And it doesn't matter what the question is, man. He just shreds people. You're lazy. You're doing nothing. It's like Est, for God's sakes. It's like he's a Scientologist. Bull baiting.
His followers.
Yeah, they're his followers. They're paying him, right? Critical thinking. Exactly. Jane Aldrich. Rip Curl Readiness. Good to see you. Yeah, he's on Coke Alone. A destructive binge Coke steroids kills it. Yeah, you know what? Cocaine will absolutely destroy the gains he's getting from the stuff that, the gear that he was taking. Sober, no alcohol, 2 weeks. Oh, woo! How cool is that? How cool is that? JG, congratulations. Gangster. For the record, those are the hardest 2 weeks, right? You've gotten through the hard part. There are things that you can do along the way that will help. But if you get through those first 2 weeks, man, I promise you, every one of them is going to get better. Shot callers in federal prisons where there are soldiers to take care of it. Absolutely, Lawn Dog. A lot of gang stuff. Thank you, JG. That's incredible. Yeah, in the federal prison, especially on the USPs, there's a lot of gang activity. At the FCIs, if somebody tipped up is the term they use. If somebody joined a gang, they usually do it at a USP. They're not supposed to bring people in FCIs. That's not the prison saying that. That's most of the gangs. But yeah, at the USPs, when the shot caller says someone's going to go put work in, you're going to go put work in. And that's kind of why they let you stay on the yard. It's a very, very messed up dynamic. But the people that are in gangs absolutely are the people that are volunteering to go do stuff like that so they can get cool tattoos and rise through the ranks. That's a cool tattoo. Sir, that's a cool tattoo. If you don't know that song, that was a great reference by Johnny.
Thank you.
Gangster.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, I'm impressed. Some of your better work. Yeah, it's congratulations. I'm telling you that I love that. I really, really do. John says, JG, congrats, praying for you. You know what? I love that. I really do. In fact, let's put some deuces up there. When was the last time I did one of these? Put some deuces up there, people, because that's impressive. It really is. The first 2 weeks of the hardest, right? On anything, but you don't know the song. Well, you know what? Who cares? I'm deep into this, and nobody likes me anyway. There's a song on the internet you can look up called "Queer Tattoo." Before anybody gets all bummed out, now you can get bummed out. I didn't have an end to that sentence. It's just a very funny song. I used to, when I was incarcerated and working at Unicor, the Bob and Tom show used to have these guys come on and sing. It's just a very, very funny song. I believe it starts, angel wings, butterflies, no, unicorn, butterfly, angel wings in her thigh, queer tattoo. It's a very, very funny song. Totally worth looking up. Don't send me any emails because I've offended you, because damn. We just got to get better. I am going to be going live again in about an hour over on the other channel, but Johnny Scoville is going to get burned. There's a 1 hot minute, and Johnny's doing some Reaper stuff. South American style Reaper stuff. You used to hear Bob and Tom in the morning? Damn! Yeah, Bob and Tom in the morning was great. There was a funny show. And you know how much I liked it? I didn't even get annoyed by that unbelievable laugh. He would tear that off like a chainsaw. Just go on for like 30 seconds. You do need to find that one. You will thank me later, I promise. All right, people, I'll keep you up to speed on this. I promise you, with a $3,500 bail, with 1 pill, less than 20 grams of weed, and a resisting without violence, this cat's not looking at any kind of time, but I bet you he's going to get a crap load of people talking about him. I'm doing it. TMZ's doing it. I just hope more people look at this carefully, because I don't believe anything that this cat does isn't a stunt. It seems like his entire life is based on it. If you're willing to pimp out girls, keep the majority of the money, recruit girls before the age of 18, and some of the other really questionable stuff that this idiot has done, then I don't think, I don't think I would be surprised at all by him doing this. To me, this seems like a...
Hey, wait, this is in front of the wrong judge in the background.
No, that's true. It could, but I don't think that's going to happen. Unfortunately, I mean, this is it's a felony, but it's a felony that they're going to drop. Ciao, Pat Allen. Thank you for spending time with me, and for all of you, I also want to give a shout out to my boy.
For street cred.
Yeah, he's looking for street cred. Sin Star Clothing. Go over and check him out. Give him a subscribe, please. He's another guy that talks about sobriety, and we've walked very similar paths. He's a really good dude. I did some shows with him already. He is a good man. All right, people, I am Tommy. Between now and the next time I see you, I don't know, eat well, drink lots of water. See you on the next one. I'm Tommy. Have a great night and get over to Chase the Heat, people. And I will see you about an hour and 10 minutes from now on Cults and Crims. But I want to see Johnny burned first.
You're going to do it with me.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me.
No, I've got some things to do. You didn't hear that.